The cat's out of the bag. I'm flying a 7300 Parachute Mobile. Obviously, I disclosed this to my patrons back when it was gonna happen. And obviously, I've made a video with a 7300 Parachute Mobile. I've made multiple videos with the 7300 Parachute Mobile, but a bunch of you have asked how the bag is set up. This is how the 7300 goes Parachute Mobile. Some of you remember that I started Parachute Mobile with my HT, and then when I went HF, I went into an ICOM IC-706 Mark II-G. And this radio still works really great, but it has one downfall for me, and that is that it does not have the ability to record my QSOs. I had a couple of different ways to do that, and they weren't very reliable, so I ended up struggling to edit the videos together, showing the jump and highlighting the QSOs and so on and so forth. So I had to move away from this radio, which I'm selling. I'm not sure when it's gonna sell, but I'm selling it. However, I went from the 706 Mark II-G to the 705, and the biggest distractor there for me is power. 705 is a fantastic radio, and it has a key feature that I really love, and that is the ability to record my QSOs. I already had a 7300. I couldn't take it Parachute Mobile because I couldn't find a bag that would fit it properly and take it in the sky. So the 705 filled that gap for me, although I will admit that being limited to 10 watts was at times very challenging, because the conditions, if the propagation is fantastic, then I'm making a bunch of contacts. But if the propagation is not fantastic, then I'm obviously limited on QRP power. So I was always on a lookout for a bag that would fit the 7300 and let me take it Parachute Mobile. And I think it was Michael that reminded me to look again, because I hadn't in a while. And sure enough, I look in the Maxpedition catalog and I end up with this thing. This is a Maxpedition something rather other. I'll put the actual model right there, and I'll put a link on the description. The links are Amazon affiliates in the description. So, you know, I'll get a few pennies if you buy something off those links. Anyhow, this pack was not available. At least I didn't find it when I was looking to move from the 706. So I went to the 705. This pack becomes available and I have to buy it. It's not a cheap pack, but it fits exactly what I need, how I need it to fit. And here's the build out. Obviously the Maxpedition bag. Let's start at the top here. The top pocket is way too big for what I needed to carry, but it's a handy place to carry my cell phone while I am Parachute Mobile. I always like having my cell phone with me when I jump. In the event that I land off, I have a way of contacting the drop zone and letting them know where I'm at. Unlikely, but it's possible, so I like to carry my cell phone with me. On the side, I have my 12 amp hour Bioenno. It is Velcroed in and zipped in. It's this pocket is bigger than the side pocket on the bag for the 706. So I have to be careful. I'm actually thinking about adding some foam padding in the inside to keep the battery a little snug in there. That may come later this year before the Parachute Mobile season starts. And then you'll see that there's this is the waistband / shoulder strap, and this is what I buckle around my waist, and it has a little pocket for I think is a radio. I think they meant you to put a radio there, but guess what? The microphone for the radio fits perfectly in there. That's where I intend to keep it. Sometimes I put it inside of the main pocket next to the radio, but I'm finding that fishing it out of that spot when it's snug is a difficult task. We open this up and we have the 7300 SD card in it to record all the QSOs. I'm gonna see if I can find a 90-degree angle connector for this, because I don't like the strain that this bag is putting on the microphone cable when it's all cinched up. But we have the 7300 power and coax come out. I'll show you that in a minute. And then the coax that comes out, I have a pocket just on the outside of the radio compartment that holds the coax, and then yet another pocket that holds the antenna. My primary antenna for the jumps when I'm doing HF is my Pactena Enfed half wave. You've seen it a bunch. It is a great antenna. No, I don't get paid to say that. You just go buy one when he has them in stock because they sell out pretty fast. George has a great antenna. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it in the video or not, but my transformer is getting all banged up from dragging on the ground on landings, and that's fine. You know, it's proof that the antenna was built to a high standard. I am not gentle with this thing, is all I'm saying. This is the one thing that always gets drugged when I land. I don't recover this before landing. This gets drugged behind me, and if I'm landing at 25 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour, wherever the case might be, this is going across the ground at that speed too. We go on to the coax. This is ABR with the orange armor shield. I got this from Giga Jason at Huntsville a couple of years ago, and with the intent of using it for POTA, I started using it for parachute mobile because I needed something that was very visible to show that there was something behind me. There was a wingsuiter that wanted to cruise by me, and I told him not to because he might get decapitated if he got entangled on my stuff, and he didn't believe me. And then once he tried to cruise by me without telling me, and he saw the orange wire and he flared away thinking, whoa, I don't know what in the world that is, but I don't want any mix with it. So that is a beautiful thing to have, both at the park so people don't trip on your line, and while I'm under the parachute to make people aware that there is something behind me, that they shouldn't approach me in any way when I'm under the parachute playing radio. Inside of the main compartment, obviously the radio. And oh, I know. Listen, I can tell already. You all are cringing. You're thinking that poor coax is getting pinched down at the bottom. Well, no, it's not. One, the rails are protecting the connector, and two, I have a 90-degree elbow on it to keep that loop from getting kinked up or over the radius, maximum radius that the coax can take. By the way, this is ABR 218X ATC. So that's what it is. It's connected to the radio using a 90-degree adapter to make sure that the cable comes out and up. I am hoping to find something similar for the power cable. The power cable is obviously, it doesn't care much about how much strain there is there, but I care not to try not to make it any worse than it already is, right? Not the way the manufacturer intended it to be used. The coax does have 5 ferrite beads on it, also handy given that I'm flying an Enfed half wave. Just keeping common mode out. It's a possibility, it's not a guaranteed, but anytime I get a chance to deal with common mode in a really easy way, well, here it is. Obviously, by the way, this pack, the way it's set up right now, is maxed out on its capacity. I have my APRS beacon radio here. This is an FT3D. Goes on the side, beaconing APRS when I'm parachute mobile. And then one of the additions to the setup since I set it up is this carabiner and some very bright orange parachute cord. This goes around the leg strap of my parachute system, and then it gets clipped in here to prevent the issue that I had in Alabama where my ID-50 went for a parachute mobile jump without me. This was N8YO's idea, and obviously it's brilliant and it's simple and it works really well. The pack itself has 2 straps. This one goes around my waist, and then it has this strap here, which is handier than you might think. This is set up in such a way that it goes around my leg, and the idea is to keep the pack strapped down against my body on exit so that it doesn't have a chance to come off my waist and flare up and maybe hit me in the face, right? This extra strap here goes behind me, goes between my legs and behind my leg and around the pack and gets clipped in. So all told, 3 straps on the pack, waist, leg, and then connected to the parachute system. That way, if for some reason this buckle gets undone, I have a means of keeping the pack with me. My primary antenna I've already shown you, but if I want to fly 40 meters, this is my Dutenna. It's also set up on a BNC. That way I have the same setup as the Pactena. It's just a matter of swapping the antenna winders out. This was cut for 40. And then if I'm feeling fancy, then I'm gonna go, this is my Reliance bug out, and this one is set up for 12 meters and 17 meters on a linked and fed. I don't think I've done 17 yet. That may be coming early in the season this year. I have these all cut differently. I mean, I could do it with a single transformer, but then I have to go through the hassle of figuring out what link goes where and so on and so forth. It's just easier to have 3 different transformers and deal with it this way. One antenna that I don't have here right now because a friend of mine is borrowing it is my KM4ACK kit. That was the very first antenna started with doing HF with, 40 meters. It's a great little kit. If you want to build one, go to Jason's website and buy one. Build the kit. It's a fun build. Same thing with the Dude antenna. It's a fun kit to build. It's a really large toroid. This one is definitely rated for more power than the KM4ACK. I want to say the Dude's price is a few bucks more. I can't say for sure off the top of my head, but that's the setup. A bag, a radio, coax, antenna, battery, APRS beacon, microphone, and a place to put my cell phone. I am considering the idea of adding a Meshtastic node to this somewhere. I have carried a Meshtastic node with me with my 705 bag. That bag has more pockets than this one, and I'm able to fit this and the battery, because it's a smaller battery and everything else, in that bag. But on this bag, I don't really have a clear spot for the Meshtastic node. So for now, no Meshtastic, but I'm still trying to figure that one out. That's all I have on this one, folks. Catch you guys on the next one, 7-3.